Hello and welcome to Coin Lady channel. Try not to take this as a dry run. Guys, hold on a second. What the heck is going on? This is unquestionably going to occur. Where? Somewhere out of reach. As a matter of fact, nobody has even mentioned this. At least, that's how it looks. Right. Indeed, this is especially true of the mainstream media. Very simply, the answer is no. But Twitter. This is the most recent information straight from Wall Street. Silver mining businesses are rushing to purchase backup generators in anticipation of load shedding, in which energy is turned off for several hours a day in certain areas. With the building collapsing right this second, gentlemen, what do we seem to be talking about non-stop? On the inside, the process has already begun. In years 24 and 25, the United States will be in the throes of a massive collapse, right? Possibly. Nigeria's about 677,000 tweets have been made about this. Right. These occurrences are definitely happening again? While you read this, the economic system on the other side of the world is collapsing. As a result of the potential ripple effect, however, many people are staying quiet about it. Slowly but surely, this is becoming a reality. To what effect? But then, who knows where that door can open? Coming to a city near you, America. The South African business community is preparing for the worst. That's an incredibly accurate assessment. I mean, what the heck is that? Flip the switch again. That switch will get flicked, in my opinion, when the collapse occurs. My only defense is to claim that this is how I feel. Don't take us seriously if you think a country of 60 million people isn't on the edge of collapse, to quote unquote. Wow. Not going to happen. Really, this is what is happening right now. Collapse. Want to vouch for this? That I'm aware of, there are none in this world. I don't think we were just discussing Gregory Mannarino. Everyone worked together, right? Only a handful of other people did as well. Nonetheless, there are still a great number of people who are unaware of the impending worldwide catastrophe. Isn't it plain to see what's transpiring? They are testing it out first over there. The population at large, however, is blissfully unaware of the truth. The 60 million people who live in this country are once again in danger as rolling blackouts have returned. So, what exactly do we talk about when we're alone? The evidence suggests that we are right on a regular basis. I'm curious as to what the actual likelihood of this happening is. And I offer this only as an aside. You enlighten me to that fact. You people are witnessing firsthand how simple it can be. Both the collapse and the power outages will occur at the same time. Right. It's only natural that people would be terrified when the economy crashed. Most people struggle with understanding this notion. It is recommended that people have supplies to last at least 72 hours without electricity, as the 12-hour blackouts would cause even more hardship. How come? That's why I'm going to scale it down a lot for you guys. Here, I'd like to zero down on this one particular aspect. It's probably too far away for you to see, so I'll bring it in closer. Everything is set in motion for this to occur. That's what we mean when we talk about pandemonium. Any attempt by a totalitarian state to cleanse the United States would be disastrous. I find it hard to imagine that this is occurring on the other side of the world. Build up a stockpile of food and water. Wow. Which brings me to my next question, what do you think? Right. Several years ago, people of the XRP civilization left to go get food, water, and other requirements. Right. Be ready at all times with flashlights and whatnot, because disaster could come at any time. To be honest, I don't think it's anything to be scared of. Why? Blackouts and other disturbances shouldn't keep the system offline for more than a few days, at most. I'd guess 2 weeks at most, people. Hence, I'm thinking in terms of days. The new system and all that stuff will be back online soon enough, provided they don't rush things. Since then, there has been an increase in the number of appeals for aid. Disputes are more likely to break out in South Africa if the country's power grid fails. Easy as pie, you guys. I need a mug from the crowd. As far as I'm aware, nobody else did. Right. I'm relieved that the public is starting to catch on to what's really going on. This brings us to the meat of the issue. There has been a rise in the frequency with which people discuss related themes. Just in case you think we're kidding around, Nigeria has been hit by a wave of strikes and demonstrations. The Digital ID Task Force and CBDCS. I don't think you're getting what I'm trying to say. In reality, however, you already know this. So, it's time to move on to the common folk, right? Once again, we have an issue. A responsive substitution. Just count to 5, then 2, then 1, then 3. Plonkers, get your priorities straight. Leading to an irreparable shortfall of financial resources. Right, future iterations of money will surprise us. From there, something will develop. Honestly, fellas. Maybe MASH. Right, get it going. Fiat will still exist or something. Money in dollars will be around for quite some time. Right. Due to the special status of reserves, this is the situation. All that we have to look forward to are CBDCs and other such innovations. It's a problem that stores won't accept cash any longer. Right. Is there a certain time when the initial catalyst that set this whole thing in motion happened? Right. By the news of the past few years, we have a good idea of what will happen in 2020. In a significant turn of events, we just witnessed. Why? Because people are moving away from using cash, of course. Perhaps nobody used money because everyone was too scared to. If you're Mr. Pool, your fear is his passport to power. Just remember that everything you're hearing about right now is happening in the very near future. Why can't people see what's right in front of them? I don't see the point. The seats were barely set up before fighting broke out. The story's inevitable demise was hastened by that action. This time, it's for real, it's starting up. The procedure has begun. To achieve this goal, we would make life more difficult for cash-dependent Nigerians. I mean, seriously. And it's working like a charm. Wow, this is completely made up and absurd. Right. It's clear that everyone and everything here is moving at a breakneck pace. That time is of the essence, guys. So, I guess that's all I have to say. Here in the main body of this piece you'll find all the evidence you need to verify that their concerns are well-founded. How about you guys? I can't. Do you guys understand all that's being said? That's the marine organism we're looking at. This is some really fascinating information. Wow. The government's meddling with business practices continues. What? Basically, new currencies and the like. Instead of guys, what do you guys think? You may try this. Hello? Well, does anybody happen to be there? Placing a hand on the door and rapping on it is an appropriate way to get someone's attention. I don't. As the things we've been talking about start to materialize, it still feels surreal. Our sense of self-worth is about to burst. Oh dear, that's not good news, gents. This is why we can't let ourselves become too excited just yet. Remember that. Happiness and sadness will flood your heart at the same time. Right. Emotions. Dissimilarity or oneness. Today, Tom Emma provides yet another update. This is where he comes into play. Take note, gentlemen, since he just now introduced the CBDC Anti-Surveillance State Act. Please wait just one SEC. In this scenario, what is he going against? By going against conventional wisdom, he hopes to prevent unaccountable government officials in Washington, D.C., from stripping citizens of their right to financial anonymity. Wow. Right. The future ends up being the only thing that matters. Calculated and checked for precision. Well, and you knew that already. I promise your protection, if you will pardon the quotation marks, in exchange for your freedom. The blockchain concept is not without potential and deserves to be developed further. There was an outward manifestation of the outcome. Right. How ready would you say you are? Well, I'm not because. Okay. Modifying the Federal Reserve Act to prohibit Federal Reserve banks from offering certain products or services directly to an individual is necessary to stop central banks from using digital money for monetary policy and other purposes. Guys, this vote is going to tank. Can you please explain why this is the case? You guys need to hear this. If that's the case, then I'm delighted they are making a stance. Undeniably, they make a reasonable argument. All of their releases, including the performers, are in this vein. They are ready for it if they can see it coming. It looks like this team is running at full capacity. But they're blind to one crucial detail. Indeed, there are many of them. People in charge are like wet puppets. They have no choice but to carry out the will of their masters, higher up the chain of command. They have to sign every contract and confidentiality agreement. Now, so, are we going down now? A paper representation of a currency. First section title shortening. Legally, this piece of legislation is abbreviated as the CBDC Anti-Surveillance State Act. Okay, then, let's assemble here. Disallowance as outlined in paragraph 2. As a result of the suspension, you cannot access your Fed bank account. Related to marketing to distinct demographics of consumers. As we've already established, the Federal Reserve is the key. Right. All operations are under their full control. Don't forget that the world is already one. Gee. Right. Typical political claptrap. Why? Since banks essentially run the world. An amendment to the Federal Reserve Act is proposed, which would amend Section 13 by adding the following new paragraph. A Federal Reserve Bank may not sell goods or render services to private individuals except as permitted by law. Donate money to a person or organization, or have the government hold or distribute funds in digital form. Wow. I'm really happy to see this, you guys. Right. Finally, some people are speaking up about it. It goes without saying that you all know they, or at least someone with decision-making authority, exist. It's great to watch history unfold before our eyes. Put a stop to the Federal Reserve's ability to use digital currency to implement monetary policy. The Federal Reserve Board of Governors and the Federal Open Market Committee are prohibited from using any central bank digital currency in the conduct of monetary policy. In relation to any digital CBDC-related studies or pilot projects funded by the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System. The Board of Governors has final say. Give each Federal Reserve Bank a chance to weigh in on the study or pilot and report back to Congress quarterly on what you learn. Right. There will be a greater need for transparency if this bill is passed. If this proposal is passed, it will serve three purposes. Federal Reserve notes cannot be issued to private parties, and the central bank is prohibited from using them to implement monetary policy or exert economic control. Exactly at that moment, you are able to provide a piece of information that was as specific as it gets. Naturally, economics requires some level of oversight. They are using any means necessary to achieve global dominance. This means it can't become law. All CBDC programs run by the Federal Reserve should be subject to review by Congress and the President. Wow. Listen to one of the best local acts right now. Right. Means money owed, like for rent or a phone bill. Here, too, it's as easy as counting to 3 to forget the value of transparency and straightforwardness. It turns out that the state is right. The clouds are beginning to part and the truth can be seen emerging. No replacement for the dollar should compromise users' personal information like the current dollar system does. Wow. Fantastic individual liberty and competitiveness in a free market. Anything less could result in the development of a potentially dangerous form of invasive monitoring software. Right. In the end, America's continued technological leadership is not the result of forcing innovators to conform to American values through government oversight, but rather the result of actively encouraging the development of innovations founded on those values. Just plain crazy, crazy, crazy. Right. A new day is about to break. Wow. Amazing. Beautiful. Now, here you will find the most recent data and updates. A digital dollar that is not open, permissionless, and private is in the works under the Biden administration. Instead, it will be modeled after surveillance technology. This legislation was written in part to prevent unaccountable government officials from stripping Americans of their right to financial anonymity. Then, let's take a peek at this. But the Biden administration is currently pining for the creation of a digital, authoritarian-styled, surveillance-style digital currency. And, thanks to an executive order, they are investigating a retail CBDC that isn't open, permissionless, permissionless, or private. Quite the opposite, it would endanger the well-being of American citizens and their ability to contribute to the economy. If every citizen in the United States used this form of digital currency, the government could monitor and control their purchases and transfers with pinpoint accuracy. The CBDC Anti-Surveillance State Act was proposed by myself and a few other co-workers because of this. Well, at least we're trying. There is hope, however, in the form of the emerging digital economy. There is no room for error here. Wow. Then, if you want to respond, you can use the clapping emoji hand. Oh wow. This lady is obviously on our side. Who knows? Maybe not. Right. The introduction of a completely new system appears imminent. For the sake of being prepared, you should all get moving. Although this is not investment advice, it does not bode well. To take a look at what's going on. There's already been a global occurrence of this. In the not-too-distant future, more dominoes will fall like rain. America. Guys, it all comes down to the United States. Not financial advice, but fantastic all the same. Please like and subscribe my channel. I will see you later, bye.